A while back, my daughter asked me for a craft table. She's very much into crafting, and being young, I thought, okay, great idea. So I started to have a look online, and quite frankly, the results were underwhelming. Overpriced garbage. So I thought, why not combine 3D printing with some furniture? So I thought I'll pop to IKEA, as I know that their lack tables are cheap, but pretty sturdy for this type of project. So I'm going to take you through today how to make one yourself from start to finish. So let's jump right in. The first thing you're going to want to do is buy your supplies. Now, at the time of recording this, the tables in IKEA, I believe, are £10 each. And if you are an IKEA family member, which is free to join, I believe you can get them delivered to like your local Tesco or something, or you pick it up from one of their trucks for like £5. So it's pretty reasonable. You'll also need to get yourself some casters, some glue, and some filament. All of this will be listed on the MakerWorld description. Links will be down below. So just to point something out here, yes, it takes quite a bit of filament, depending on how you decide to do it. Now, we've actually made this in a few sort of modular variations. So you can have huge drawers, little drawers, slim drawers on the sides and stuff like that. All you need to remember is that the front and the back where the drawers are will require 4 modules, which I'll explain shortly, and the sides require one of the side panels. On the top, if you are going to install the pen pots, they are removable to be washed out when done. We do suggest using PETG or stronger for this, purely just for a lasting thing. However, if you are going to use PLA, make sure you give it a coat of something like clear varnish or something when you're done. You can buy very cheap clear varnish in an aerosol from most DIY shops, etc. Just makes it easier to clean them out and make them last longer, with kids touching them and stuff like that. Also, just while we're on the subject of PETG, yes, you can buy it from Amazon and loads of other places like that, but we actually suggest that you don't buy it from Amazon when using large quantities like this. Now, under no affiliation, we buy pretty much all of our filament these days, apart from specialist stuff from Bambu. The reason being they do a buy more, get more off sort of thing. So I think the way it is right now with the sale is 10 rolls of PETGs, like 85 quid delivered. Which I think is exceptional, considering I've never had any issues with Bambu quality filament. So even when it's not, I think it's like £100 for 10 rolls delivered. And again, if you're using Bambu printers and you're using AMS or anything like that with me, even just having the RFID tags on them to be identified is well. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get straight back into this. So this is what you're going to end up with when you open the file. Now, I have optimized this for P1S and P2S printers. It will work in others, and obviously it'll work in non-Bambu printers. But what you're going to need to do before you get on with anything, obviously, once you've bought your tables and you've bought the list of stuff, I think it's just casters, glue. I can't think of anything else, but if I do, it'll be in the description, is to start printing. So what you're going to need is the leg mounts, which are here. Now, these have been made so in the holes in the bottom will fit the casters that we've suggested and corner protectors for the top. The corner of lack tables can be quite sharp, especially if kids fall over and stuff, so it just sort of adds that layer of protection. Screws, that was it. Screws, you need screws. We used drywall screws. I know it doesn't sound right, but in all the time we've done this 3D printing IKEA furniture stuff, we've found that the lack furniture works really well with drywall screws and glue. So yeah, we'll leave a link for them as well. Here we have the pots in the top. Again, this bit is what you insert into the top when you've cord a hole out, and these are the pots. You can have large or small, they slot in and you can take them out for washing and stuff like that. You can print as many or as few of these as you want. The top pots really are optional, so that's entirely up to you. Over here, so we have our types of drawers. Now, we've done vented and non-vented, so there are vented sides and there are solid sides. We've only put the vented ones in the print profile because we think they work better, but if you want the solid ones, you can download them from the STL list on the MakerWorld profile. But the big thing here is making sure you pick the right amount. So the side of each, the side of the table has 4 modules, which are these. These are your frames. So it'll have 4 frames. So they'll stack like a square. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that'll cover one whole side and halfway into the table. So you can have 4 on one side and 4 on the other. And it's totally down to you how you want to set this out. So you can print 8 of completely the same one and then all the drawers to fit. So for example, this one here is our XL frame and these are the XL drawers. So you'd print 1 frame to 2 drawers. You'll print 1 of these, which are our medium drawers, which are our slim drawers. you'd print 1 frame and 4 drawers. Now, balancing it out filament-wise doesn't make a difference. So you might save less filament on the big drawer compared to 4 little ones, but you're going to use more filament. Sorry, you know what I mean. So the 4 little drawers and the frame are pretty comparable to 2 big drawers and the frame for that. So print 8 of whatever you want and the drawers to fill them. Now, the drawers are captive, so they once you slot them in, you'll see here at the back, this is the back of it, they are captive, and there's a little bit at the front and a lip on the drawers, so when you pull them out, they'll stop, so you can root around in the drawer and push it back, so they don't just slip out and slide and drop all your stuff everywhere. So yeah, very easy, just put them in at an angle, job is a good one. So yeah, that's pretty much it for them. Print as many of them as you need. And as for these are your sides. Now, I have provided the full STL files. Whether or not you want them, I don't know. If you've got a huge printer and you want to print just the whole wall on its own for the sides, please feel free to do so. But I've split these down, and they do go together with dowels and glue, so you can make them for the sides. Once they're together, just slot them into place, glue them in, and screw them. Dead simple. But you'll see that as we go on, and that's it. You know, this is the file. It does go together pretty easily, pretty well. I've now made 3 of these. First one was a disaster. Second one went totally fine. Third one is for my daughter. So hopefully, if you want to do this, you can make it too. So let's jump straight into the build and get going. Right, first thing you're going to want to do is build the tables themselves. They're really simple, these from IKEA. You just get the tabletop, you put the threaded, nutty, inserty thing, it's like a double-ended screw, into one side, and then you screw the legs in. Do this for both tables, do this for one table, and for the bottom you won't need them legs, so feel free to dispose of them however you want. And I would suggest that you use glue on the legs as well. So as you're winding it down, put some glue underneath, and then when you get right to the bottom and you tighten it into place nicely, make sure the legs are nice and square, the glue will just give that little bit of extra security. And because it is mitre bond adhesive, it's very good glue, and it will help drastically. Okay, once you've built the table, you want to put your corner protectors on it, which are right here. Please excuse the camera angles. I am getting better with each video. I promise I will keep improving as we go. Glue these into place and screw them as well. These are very important to stop little ones hitting the heads and stuff right on the corner. They're not perfect. You could probably round them even more. You could even buy the rubber ones that you can get on Amazon and stuff if you prefer that. But they protect the table, they protect the child, and they just give it a little bit more rigidity. So yeah, a bit of glue and screws as well. Then you're going to want to open the spare table, your second table. Get rid of the legs, you don't need them. And we're going to take our casters here, our caster mounts and our leg mounts. Now remember, you need to mount these so the sticky up bit is on the white bit on the top, because that's where the legs are going to slot. If you do it the other way around, you're going to end up with a big brown bottom like the bare wood. It doesn't look very nice. So stick it on like so, and then screw them into place when they're all glued, and you're going to end up with 4 lovely casters on the legs there. Once they're in place, make sure that, like I said, make sure they're glued and screwed, and you're going to move on to using the, installing the casters. Again, like I said, we've designed this so it takes the holes that are in the provided link for the casters. If you do choose a different one or you've got your own, you may need to modify the file. It's not something we're going to do. We're quite happy with these. They take the load well even when the table's full, and they slot in really, really well. So you'll see here, just like so, all the holes line up, and we can fit it the way we want to. You don't need to glue this into place, just screw it straight in, and all should be good. And basically that's your table together. So without anything else, that's just your table. It's got its casters, its corner protectors, and it's all singing or dancing ready to go. So now we'll get on to the 3D printed stuff. Okay, so like we said earlier, you need 4 modules per side. Showing you here some of the drawer types and stuff we do. They are captive. Put them in at an angle. And you can see here I've got a mixture of solid drawers, vented drawers, solid frames, vented frames, just because I was playing around a lot with combinations and stuff to see what works. Now, big important step here. Whenever you 3D print anything, but especially these, post-processing is important. Use reaming tools to clean the edges of prints if there's been any rafts used. Print the edges of any drawers, clear out any debris from printer overhang, stuff like that. You want them to look and feel clean and crisp. And if you really, really want to, you could put a very small amount of lubricant on each drawer slide part on the inside, just to make sure they slide nicely. But they do seem to go fairly well. But always post-process your 3D prints, and they will look much, much better and work much better, especially when it's something like this, which is a functional part. Right, once you're happy with your choices and you've got your 4 together, what you want to do is start getting them into place. Now, screw and glue. Now, I haven't screwed this one down because I ran out of screws, but I do it later on. So you can trust me on that. We're using, again, Unica Mitre Bond adhesive and activator. I use far too much of this in my daily life. So what we're doing is we are using as much glue as we need to. Now this stuff goes a long way. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pop down one frame. We're going to draw around some of the vented bits so we can see where we've got solid bits to glue to. We'll take it off, add some glue into place, add the activator to the actual frame, put it into place, apply pressure for 10 seconds, and then it should be fine. If you want to add some more glue afterwards, feel free, but don't add any in places where when it hardens, it could block the draw working or anything like that. Then just continue on and add in all the frames where you want them. Again, mark out where the glue should go, get them into place, and you should be just fine. One thing to note here, if you use the solid side ones, it's much easier. You can just put a big massive bead of glue, loads of activator, and in you go. And we'll just carry on and we'll get the entire thing done with drawers. And once they're all in, it looks pretty good. I mean, you could use it just like this if you really wanted to, but we're going to go through now and add in the side panels as well. These can be a little tricky. Honestly, I think if I do another one of these, I might design these a little differently, but they work really, really well. So that's what we're doing with them. Now, these use a dowel system. So you can just pop in the dowels that you printed with them into the bottom, glue the bottom together, put glue along the seams, lines and dowels, and use activator. Hold it all in place for 10 seconds again, and you'll end up with the bottom part. I suggest you mount this bottom part before we put the top part in, just to make it a little easier. If you do want to put the whole thing together, good luck. Use a flat surface, it's probably a lot better. Then we'll get the top part together again, dowel and glue. Post-processing, again, you can see somewhere there I've missed. I do go back and do that later on. Make sure you are cleaning it up. Glue and activator again. You can see here, putting some on the back, all well and good. And then when it's all ready, apply glue to the side walls and stuff, and the bottom, sorry, the top of the segment plate there, where we're going to slot this in, and it will become part and parcel of the side wall. It'll have lots of strength. Also, put some glue on the drawer sections at the back, just the frame where you're going to be putting them, and it sort of solidifies everything together. And the other side is pretty much the same. It's the same exact assembly, except you don't have the parts at the bottom for different things. The reason we designed it like this is one side can be used for rolls of paper, one side can be used for trays of paper, and then you've got the hanging bits, like the knobs and stuff, if you want to hang things off those. And that's pretty much the whole basic table together. Next up, we're going to work on the top. Again, this is optional. You don't have to do this. But get yourself a hole saw. Now, the reason I'm not giving you a size of hole saw here is because you can actually scale these pots to be as big or as small as you want. Print them out and just get measure the diameter of the inset of the top piece, and then get a hole saw that matches that. Drill straight in. One thing I will say is once you've gone through the first layer, because the cardboard lined inside this furniture, once you've gone through the first layer with your hole saw, stop. Take it out, remove the pilot bit, and just use the actual round part. So then when you get through it, you can peel the rest out, take the cardboard out, and you're not going straight through into the drawers below. You don't want to affect rigidity and stuff. You just want it to work nicely. But yeah, you can see here we go through, no problem, and then we peel it out, and jobs are good. When you're ready, glue them into place. Make sure you measure where you put these if you want them to look symmetrical. Otherwise, it's just going to look a bit odd. But don't do the whole top. You want this to be able to be used to draw on and stuff as well. And then yeah, you've got yourself a little craft table, and that is basically it. You got yourself a little craft table, basically it. I find this quite simple to put together. Once you've sort of printed everything, you can have it together in about 30 minutes, you know, if you focus on it. So I really hope you enjoyed this. If you don't, you know, no bother, but if you do, please feel free to drop us a like. We are growing quite well on here. Our next video will be, I believe, our all-in-one plug into the TV arcade stick thing where it's got millions of games. You'll see that as it comes out. We are working on it. We don't post super regularly. We post as and when we get to projects. So thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next one.